I had a client that we doused her house. Her cat went in the evening about 9:30, would go and sit on one spot in her bedroom on the floor, and she would sit there for 30 minutes, and then she would come out, get the owner, basically tell her it was time to go to bed, and they'd go to bed. I doused the house, and that very same day the cat skipped sitting on that spot and just went right to bed and didn't come out and get her anymore. She goes, now that was really crazy. She goes, I would have never believed it if I didn't see it, and to this day the cat still doesn't go back to that spot. So I always watch cats when I douse a house, and a lot of times they're right next to me.
Does the cat not go back to the spot because the negative energy was absorbed?
Because we cure it. Yep, we close up that vortex and we cure it. We either neutralize it or we turn it to a positive. If cats are sitting on you, they're giving you Reiki. They're giving you energy. Let them sit there because they're trying to do something. They're absorbing something out of your body. Yep, my mom has fibromyalgia, and she's got 3 cats, and they all sit on certain spots.
I have a very chaotic friend, a completely angry, chaotic friend, and her cat sits on her daughter constantly.
Yep.
Does not leave her daughter, and that just makes sense because she's sucking up all that negative energy.
And they might be living in a negative vortex or sleeping in one.
Right.
So an apartment is the same difference. I would normally when I douse a home or a business, I douse the basement first because the energy starts low and spreads as it goes higher. And so in an apartment, we just do that main floor. And then it's actually kind of nice for your neighbors above you because they get doused as well. So guys, all of the dowsing works, all of saging and smudging and all of those great things, they all work. In my experience, sometimes they don't hold as long. They don't hold the energy. And so this is only my experience, but in my house, the dowsing held the energy longer. I don't have to adjust it as often because when Shanda cleared my house, we had to keep clearing it every couple weeks. Or when you douse, it's held, and then after a couple months, 6 months, a year, re-douse and, keep it up. Things, if you're wondering what's up with your house, if you have a lot of clutter, check out the clutter and see where it's at. I had some of my friends that know me for a long time, I had a big, huge pile of laundry. And I bitched about this laundry for like 5 years, literally 5 years, because I knew there was something with the laundry.
That wasn't
I knew
a pile,
it.
sweetheart. It was alive.
It was a pile like 4 feet high, and I was like, I know there's something with this laundry. And Jodie Bach kept coming up with these different solutions, and I'm like, no, that's not it. It's not it, Jodie. I know you know a lot, but that is not it.
I just throw it out.
And Annette came to douse my house, and I'm like, tell me what's up with the laundry pile, because I know there's something there. And she started laughing, and she said, well, there's a negative vortex there. She says, you're just trying to cover it subconsciously because you, on one level, know what's going on. So if you have piles in your house that you just can't get rid of, sometimes there's a negative vortex there. And sometimes the clutter, if there's a lot of chaos in your mind and you just aren't sure, you can't keep your thoughts straight, every time you get home, you just can't keep your thoughts together. You might have interference lines caused by cell phones and towers and digital TV and Blackberries and all of these different things that we've created that can cause interference energetically for you, and it affects your body. It affects what's going on. Some of the other lines I check for is geopathic lines. These are kind of fun. When I feel them, it's like a big heavy weight on my head and I get a headache when I walk into a house, and it's like, okay, I got to cure those right away so I can think. But some people have had these geopathic lines go straight across their knees and they have knee issues. So sometimes if you have aches and pains and you're not really sure why and there's no medical reason why, it might be the energy and you're more sensitive than you think you are. So my parents slept in one for years. And my dad has really bad heart issues and my mom has a lot of arthritis issues. And so we doused their house and all this stuff. My dad thinks I'm absolutely nuts. He came walking in and I'm like, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, just let me do it, Dad. And I haven't heard my mom complain as much as she used to about her pain. Is she cured? No, of course not. But it's really helped alleviate some of the pain that she felt. So geopathic I check for. Negative Hartman and negative Curry deal with the magnetized side of things. Your house might feel really hot. Like I've been in houses when they have a lot of negative Hartman and Curry, they never feel cool. They're always like buzzing and hot, and There's just a really uncomfortable feeling around them. I had a lot in my house.
That's the way my house feels because I attract so many spirits.
Yep. Yep. And we should talk after because I actually have some ideas for you.
I would like that. Thank you.
Yep. And so we would put a copper ring on your actual electric box. These are positive vortexes. I do not know how they're made. I know there's a secret little formula, but I know when I put it on over my head, I can feel a lot of energy on it. And so we have one of these on my electric box. And as soon as she put it on there, the temperature in my house fell. It's not as hot in my house. It's really strange. So what I've done with my clients is I'll douse their house, and for the 2 months afterwards, I usually check in at least 2 or 3 times just to see if anything needs to be adjusted or whatever. And then I do a check-in at 6 months and a redousing at a year, just to see if we have a flood like we did. I just emailed all my clients and said, let me know if your house doesn't feel quite right because the river shifted a lot of energy around here. So, yep, it just depends.
I'm a medium that uses EVP on a singular daily basis.
Well,
every day.
See, and the other thing, it's a really enlightened group. Like, you guys are all working on yourselves, and as we work on ourselves and do all this great work, we raise our frequencies. As we raise our frequencies, you get more sensitive. So if you take a big shift for yourself, you might have some new stuff coming in. So it just
really
depends.
good with a good vortex though, because my house really does shift back to a good feeling. I've never had a complaint. I have many people coming in and out of my house for meetups, and I never have a complaint, even though I use EVP on a nightly basis.
Sure,
So
sure.
I'm wondering if you do a dowsing. My house has never been doused, it's been blessed.
Sure.
And so I'm wondering if
We can test it.
I would like to. I would love to do that.
Yeah, we can test it. You got to experiment. Yep.
It's electro environment perception. It's using, spirits can use electronics and electronic equipment and electrodes in your body and in your mind and in TVs, VCR, tape decks, things like that, to actually communicate verbally with people.
I just gotta say, what a cool group of people. Dowsing can really help children, you guys. If you have kids that are not sleeping, like Darcy's were waking up. My 2 kids did not sleep, and once the house was doused, my 4-year-old at the time slept through the night. My little guy, anytime something shifts, I know it because of him. Because he's up at night, he's crying, he's pointing, he's telling me things. I always know when something new pops up. And my house changes a lot because that's just how I am. So it doesn't happen to everyone that way. But I always know from my kids. So I've had a lot of clients that have had issues with their kids that the dowsing has very much helped. If they have a geopathic line through their crib, they will not sleep. They will actually move to one side or the other to get away from that energy. So watch your kids. If your kids are having issues and they're real sensitive, because we have all these people that are more sensitive to energy now, dowsing is definitely something that can help them with that. Or if you have people that come into your house and they're angry, like your kids get angry and you're not really sure why, and it doesn't sound like them, or they kind of shift personalities a little bit, sometimes they are catching up on that energy that's coming from the vortexes. In my house, or not my house, but a friend of mine, they weren't sleeping. The adults were not sleeping. The kids were sleeping, the adults weren't. They actually had positive vortexes in their house. Adults have a hard time sleeping on positive vortexes because the energy is too high, but kids love it. They don't have as much dense stuff as we do, so it's harder for us to sleep on them, but kids love that energy. So a lot of times we just tell the kids, or tell the parents, to put those rings under the kids' beds, just because they love that, have that loophole to get out and go do whatever they need to do at night. So that's something that I always encourage with kids as well. Any questions?
I had a comment.
Yes.
You were talking about your parents and the arthritis problems in the bed.
Yes.
I forced my husband to get rid of our electric blanket because it was causing problems with my arthritis.
Yes. Electricity really, the earth was here and we came in and created electricity. And as great as it is for us, it really does affect our bodies. So heating blankets, water beds, sleeping on water, sleeping with water over your bed, all that kind of stuff is going to affect your energy. Everything around here has energy.